seem to enjoy it. So I would like to open it up for questions if there are any. And if you've got other things that you'd like to do, I know it's a Friday night, so by all means go ahead. Absolutely. Absolutely. My little sister, Zebby, is absolutely amazing. She's great. She loves art. She gets that from Terry. They fight a lot because they are so similar. Other mothers, daughters in the room nodding because they just, yep, okay. Yeah, Zebby's an incredible artist. She's currently studying art history at the University of Iowa. She was 16 when this all happened, and she was a junior in high school. So she couldn't do what I did, which was withdraw from the University of Iowa and continue to do this. I mentioned, and I also, believe it or not, I'm an introvert. I'm good at speaking, but I am introverted. Again, hard to believe sometimes. People try to tell me it's not true, but it is. My sister's even more introverted than I am. She's equally capable of speaking, I think, compared to her. Maybe not quite close. She's very confident in who she is, but I did debate when I was in high school. My partner, and I only did it 1 year, but my partner my senior year debated for Team America, had won a state championship herself, her junior year. Incredibly capable person. So I learned a lot from Katie, who I'm forever in debt to. We won a state championship our senior year, convincing a bunch of teachers that No Child Left Behind would be good for their students. So I had to talk, and I defend myself rhetorically and all that stuff. So I was better positioned to do this than she was. But I think her biggest complaint probably is that she gets to see me a lot less. She and I are very close. And so we are very much looking forward to me going home. We already have tickets to the midnight showing of The Hobbit in December. We're very excited about that. And she and I are actually going to be going out to Japan together in December. We've got a cousin who's getting married to a Japanese girl. So we're excited about that. Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, looks like we got a microphone coming for you.
Could you tell us how you got to do that initial testimony? How were you chosen, and how did you get all in the front up there?
So, my senior year of high school, 2009, I was the columns editor for my high school newspaper, The West Side Story. It was obviously the West Side, the West Side Story. It was spring of my senior year that the Supreme Court ruled the way it did. And so, kind of elated, I wrote what was literally the easiest column I have ever written. I was like, this is awesome, my mom's going to get married. Right on. And there's a little bit more to it than that, but our faculty advisor for the newspaper read this column and said, Zach, this is really good. You need to submit this to the Iowa City Press Citizen, is our city's largest newspaper. So I did. That editor read it and said, Zach, you need to submit this to the Des Moines Register. It was the state's largest newspaper. So I did that. They ran it in their Sunday edition. So the biggest newspaper in Iowa, and their biggest day of the week, blasted it all over the state. And it was noticed, this column that I'd written, was noticed by the law firm that had litigated Barnum v. Green, the case, and their communications director was in town that fall. She and I had dinner, traded contact info in case she was ever back in Iowa. Didn't hear from her again for like 15 months until all of a sudden, 5 days before, it was January 26th, I get a phone call, an email, a voicemail from this lady in New York who swears we had dinner with each other 15 months ago and wants me to talk at this hearing in 5 days. At which point I told her that I was actually supposed to be babysitting for a lesbian couple that night. In an act of providence, if ever there was one. But I told her, well, let me see if we can find another babysitter. So we did. In true college student fashion, wrote my testimony the night before. Drove out to Des Moines and said my piece. So the rest is on the internet.
I'm intrigued. Were there any consequences, being as your mom's had in that terrible night,
Yeah.
had the legal power to charge and this other stuff. If ever, I'm not pursuing, but if ever a hospital should be sued,
Right.
was there any action taken, and what happened to that doctor?
There was not any action taken. They could have. They had all the grounds they needed for a malpractice suit, absolutely. But both my moms worked in medicine. Terry she's a coworker for this doctor, and so while the doctor was completely in the wrong, there was no doubt in Terry's mind that he was acting in the way that he thought was best. He had no ill intentions. Right? And so at that point, she has friends whose careers have been ruined by malpractices, and she just couldn't bring herself to do it.
As far as malpractice, but as far as not letting...
Or something, sure, but no, they did not take any action.
So Zach, one of the things I'm sensitive to, and you met our girls earlier, do you ever resent being the poster boy for the moms taking this fight up that you didn't ask for? Do you ever feel uncomfortable or physical?
Frankly, today, no, absolutely not. When I was younger, there were definitely days I resented having gay parents, absolutely. But what's important, I think, for people to understand is I didn't hate the fact that I had gay parents. I hated the fact that I wasn't like everybody else. These normalizing pressures are so great. Peer pressure, right? It's a thing, right? So, look, I didn't hold it against my parents, absolutely. But I got it, and like I wish I could say, oh yeah, I just got over it. That's not how this works. It's not. What happens is you grow up, you find confidence in yourself, and you get older, and it gets better. Absolutely. And so, by the time I was a freshman in high school, I had lied through my teeth about having gay parents. I had called other kids gay, said they're fags. I had lied to my parents about doing that. I did frankly, some really bad stuff because I wanted to fit in. I wanted to be like everybody else. The first words I heard when I walked into Iowa City West High were, "Hey, faggot, get over here." Not aimed at me, or any of my friends either. But for those to be the first words you hear when you walk into the building in which you're going to be spending the next 4 years, are you kidding me? And something in me just kind of snapped. And I didn't like lash out and beat the kid up. But it was a turning point for me. My freshman year, about 6 months later, I wrote a column that actually landed me that column's editor job later. Where I basically came up to the entire high school and said, look, I have gay parents. I'm the quarterback of your football team, the sprinter on your swim team. You use these words, you have no idea the impact you're having. And frankly, you sound like an idiot. Tests are not attracted to other tests of the same sex. That's absurd. So not only do you sound like an idiot, you're hurting people. You might not realize it, but you are. And so, when that column ran, I was kind of terrified, frankly. Elementary school was really hard for me. I talked about this in the session today. It was not fun. And I wish I could tell you that it was changing and everything was better everywhere. It's not true. It's absolutely not true. So, that being said, and I don't mean to be all doom and gloom on you. The point is that have kids, please do. But be willing to sit with them and talk with them and prepare them for not if, but when they experience stigma or negativity. I'll say this. Spoken all over the country for about 23 months straight now. I've met 22 months straight. I've met literally hundreds of kids who have gay parents. I've never met anybody over the age of 18 who does not feel incredibly lucky to have the parents they have. When I was younger, did I resent my parents? You bet. By the time I was old enough to appreciate them, wrote a book about them.